So after creating the project and designing your login form, let's now create the database for this particular project. So you click on the Services tab, expand the databases. Okay, you see here several databases. We would be using the Java DB. First, you check if there is connection, existing connection. Okay, there's no server that is working. Again, make sure that there is no existing connection. If there is any, you stop the server to avoid conflict with the database that you're going to create. So again, you click on the Services tab, click on the Java DB, right click on it, and then let's create the database. Choose Create Database. So let's give a name to our database. For example, last name, your last name, login DB. And then you decide on the username for the users. It depends on the end user of your project. For example, I have the admin, and then you type the password for the admin. So in this part, we are trying to create a database and placing the username and password for that database. Make sure that you do not forget the password that you are going to place here. So mine, I'm going to place admin as the password, all caps, to make sure that I will not forget the password. But in real world working with the information system, you should come up with a strong password. Since this is just for demo, you should come up with a strong password so as to make your project secured. So after confirming the password, again, do not forget the password that you are going to place here. Oh wait, I have a warning here. I cannot use the admin, I forgot. Okay, so let's just change it. Let's use stuff, for example, then place the password. Do not forget the password. You can take note of it and save it somewhere else so you will not forget the password. So after creating the username and the password and confirm the password for your database, then you may click OK. Then again, give sometimes our ID to create the database. So it's loading now. As you can see, it's running here. Java DB database, and then the file name for the database that you recently entered into the database dialog box when you create the dialog box. There you go. So as you can see here, you may now start and ready to accept connections on port 1527. Our database network server is now ready. On the services tab, notice also that we have now the new database here, the one that you just created. As you can see, when we expand it, there's nothing to view. So you need to right click on it and then click connect. As you can see, as a result, we have now the count for our staff and the tables. From here, we can now create the table. So right click and then choose create table. So let's name our table with your last name again. Let's name it login table. Then the table is not complete without a column. Again, make sure that the database you created is under the Java DB, and the tables you created is under the database for the project that you recently created. Okay, going back here, so you had just created a table and then we're going to add a column by clicking the add column button. For example, let's have username for the column. This would be our field, the fields, one of the field for our table. So let's give the data type for our username field. So since it is a username, the best data type, possible data type could be varchar, meaning the username, the end user can enter characters, and then let us also identify the size of our variable username. What could be the longest possible username? So this refers to the length of the value that the end user could enter in the username field. So let's take for example 30, and then uncheck the null. This means that the username field cannot be null. Okay, the end user should input a value for this. Then click OK. Then let's add another column. Of course, that's the password. Let's declare the data type for the password. Let's choose again varchar. And how long could be the possible password? Let's assume it's 30. Then uncheck again the null, meaning this field should not be null. There should be a value to input in it. And then click OK. So now we have two columns for our table. So let's click OK. That's all for now. Now, when you expand the table, you can now see the field inside the table. Now we can add record by right-clicking the table and then view data. So give some time again for the IDE to prepare the working area for you. Now let's add the record by clicking here. So insert records. So hover the mouse and then click the insert record icon. So in the insert record dialog box, this is where you're going to add a value for our table here. So for the username, we can say, for example, admin. So this is now what we are trying to do here is we are creating an account for the user of our project. So for example, one of the username is admin, and then the password is, it's up to you what username you would like and what password you would like, but I prefer this one for demo, for demonstration only. So username admin and then password admin, to make sure that I will not forget this. Okay, and then if you want more username and password, you could just simply click add row. Now for this demonstration, I only need one, so click OK. And so you had just created the database for your project, and inside that database you have created one table. Then inside the table you have created two fields with one value each to each field.